Legends, what's up? It's Darkmech here, and curiosity got the better of me. I got on for Mythic Plus testing because I was curious to see what Throne of the Tides was going to be like in its reinvented format for M+, and I'm here to give you the details. So straight away in this first new section of the dungeon, you have this new mob, the Vicious Snapdragon, that look like dog, eel, hyena mix things. These will absolutely ruin your day. You're either going to chain stun them when you're dealing with them or gain aggro and kite away ASAP anytime you encounter them in the dungeon. I think it's probably going to be that you're doing. They have a stacking bleed that goes on you called Razor Jaws, which is 18% HP per tick per application on the PTR at the moment, and it can stack up to 10 times, and it will just absolutely disintegrate you as the tank. The oracles in these pools are the same as they used to be. They'll spam water bolts, hexes, and healing waves. As the tank, you obviously don't want to get hexed. Once that happens, they will switch aggro to the next highest target and go after them. The water bolts at a plus 20 at the moment are reflecting for 220 to 240k. The healing wave is extremely toxic though. You can see spam recasts once this commences its cast, and Vengeance Demon Hunter here is going to be huge in being able to lock these down. I think we'll either see a change to the internal cooldown around healing wave, or it's going to be a major focus point for groups in trying to tunnel these down. The Sentinels have a new move now called Shell Break. This is a debuff that will cause you to take 30% increased physical damage for 6 seconds, and it can stack. Another new mob up the end of this first passage is a Ravager. Now, as tanks, you always need to face this mob away from the group. It does a frontal acid barrage, and it'll also target a random player with Volatile Bolt, which is a big green circle that'll put stuff on the ground. People just need to move. The elevator is gone, which is a fantastic change from Mythic Plus. You click the teleporter and up you go. The gauntlet style is the exact same. You want to get to the other end as quickly as you can while managing the mobs to stop the deep murlocs from spawning, and then deal through the room with the rest of the mobs that we've already covered. Then you'll reach the first boss in Lady Nazjar. Now, Lady Nazjar has seen some changes. She will spawn geysers on the ground and no tornadoes anymore. These geysers are just blue circles, you just need to dodge them. Shock Blast will go on a random targeted player, and they need to move out with this big circle. When it detonates, it'll shoot blue electric orbs across the room that your group needs to dodge. High Tides has been changed. Again, no more tornadoes. You'll still get 3 adds, 2 witches, and a guard. The 2 witches will cast, you just need to interrupt them, try and drag the adds together and get them down. But you will now be dealing with repeated geyser spawns throughout this, so more blue circles spawning over and over on the ground that you need to dodge. You'll also gain a bunch of these smaller murlocs. As the tank, just try and continue to group these up. Another big note for prot warriors here is that you can spell reflect Focus Tempest for around 170k a tick as well. Again, proving spell reflect to be really useful in this dungeon. The next boss that you'll go straight through into is Commander Olthok, and this has also seen changes. As the tank, you're going to be facing the wall and have your back to the middle of the room. Your group will be positioned behind the boss with their backs to the wall. The boss is going to spawn bubbling fishes. These will be purple zones that go under your group, and you just need to rotate around. When the boss casts Awaken Ooze, slimes will come up from these purple puddles, and they'll begin to channel Congealed Ooze until they finish, and then they turn back to ooze on the ground. You want to try and stop them from moving all across the encounter space, so typhoons, vortexes, binding shots, ring of peace, whatever you can. Try and avoid standing in the ooze yourself, but try and keep them clumped up. There's no point switching to them. It's just a DPS race before you get overrun with slimes in the end. The boss will do an ability called Festering Shock, and this is a knockback. Your group, as I mentioned, wants to get knocked back into the wall, and you're going to get knocked back into the middle of the room, but not the puddles. Warriors can charge back in, Demon Hunters can leap, and DKs can use Death's Advance to avoid that knockback. It's just important to know that each time the boss casts Awaken Ooze, you will gain more and more slimes each time, and eventually it's a race to not get overrun. Once the boss is down, you're running down the hallway, but here is another new change with the Behemoth from Beyond, back with some friends spraying electrical stuff all the way down the hallway that you need to dodge. It's safe to say this will be absolutely hilarious to watch people die in Mythic Plus. Once we get back down to the bottom, you've got two ways to go. You're going to go towards Stone Speaker. These faceless watchers are the same. They'll do a large shadow smash, big purple circle, move out, that's it. There's a bunch of small floating brain minions down here that'll pulse damage. You can stun them, don't just let them continue to pulse damage over and over, it hurts. The faceless seers do a mind flay which you can kick, so get what you can manage there. And then you're on to the third boss, Stone Speaker. This is a pretty chill fight for the most part. The boss will summon a Stone Fury totem you can switch to and kill ASAP, and the boss will also cast Earth Fury, you just want to dodge the brown swirls. The boss will be insta-casting flame shocks at people that hurt, the healer really needs to watch this. At 25%, the octopus thing on his head is going to float up, and you're all going to switch to it and burn. It'll cast Terrifying Vision, which you need to line of sight around one of the pillars in the encounter space to avoid getting one shot, and that is it. Then you're moving out and you're going down towards this final gauntlet again. This gauntlet again remains untouched from its original counterpart. You need to get to the gate to stop the smaller mobs from spawning. You're going to kill each of the main mobs in each pack and then progress forward, dragging the deep murlocs with you. The aqua blasts that come from the aqua mages are reflecting for 400k on a plus 20 at the moment, so make the most of those. Then you get through the door, the gauntlet stops, and then you're on to the final boss, Ink of Azumat. Now the tank will be positioned on one side of the boss, away from Aladdin over there that's glowing blue, and the DPS and healer will be on the other side near Aladdin. Now the boss will be casting Bolting Barrage. This is 3 purple circles that go out on people, they just need to move away from each other. The boss will do a frontal called Merc Spew. As the tank, you're on your own side, you're facing this away from your group. You can see the group will eventually from Aladdin get a blue beam on them, channeling. And what they do with this is they will use that to soak up all the bad oil and ink on the ground. So every time you get a blue beam linked to you, you'll go and you'll soak up some of that and clear the space. The boss will spawn sludges. These need to be nuked down under the boss if possible. Just try and pick these up. There's also 2 other mobs that'll spawn that spam cast Ink Blast. You want to interrupt, stun, whatever you can to stop these from just being chain cast and let free to go off. Prot Warriors get an absolute banger of a reflect on this fight as well. You can taunt the boss, move out of melee range, and then spell reflect the foul bolt. On a non-Tyram plus 20, you'll be getting about 600k reflect value from that, which is absolutely crazy. So Throne of the Tides, here it is as a Mythic Plus dungeon. I gotta say, I actually didn't hate it. There are some crazy tuning elements in it, and there's a bit of funky stuff going on in the last boss where the tank can end up getting the beam to clear the oil and things like that. But overall, I think Blizzard have done a really good job with this dungeon. I'm keen to see some tuning pass through it and see where we end up. Let me know if you've tried it, if you're looking forward to it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. See you, fam. Legends, if you really want to help me out and support the channel, please consider pledging to my Patreon. Protection Warrior tier and above gets your name at the end of each video. I cannot thank everyone enough for the support. Thank you so much.